opportunistic friend. You have that person in your life who some reason, they just always seem, when times get good, here they are. They're showing up. Isn't it interesting? The Bible even talks about that. He basically tells us over in the Proverbs, he's telling us that isn't it so interesting when a person gets rich or when a person has something that will benefit everyone else, they have an abundance of friends. Isn't it interesting how when you get your income tax check, folks start coming all out of the woodwork. When you get that check, oh God, and please don't tell someone how much you're anticipating. And if it's over $3,000 or $4,000, baby, I guess we're going out this weekend, aren't we? Yeah, I just can't wait. Now look here, don't even want to go to work because you want to watch the mailman coming to try to see when that check is coming. Yeah, it's going to take tonight before it clears, but after it clears, it's on. Now you need to watch. Oh God, Lord, please help us, Lord, help us. You better watch that opportunistic friend. Somebody say it's an opportunistic friend. Yeah, they're waiting for that opportunity. Man, those people, those are only the ones who are out for their self-interest. They're trying to do what's beneficial to them. But when it comes around, now they're different than the fair weather friend. Fair weather friend might be with you for a little while, but opportunistic, they are only there just for their own benefit. That's all. Everybody get the difference now? Yeah. I know we're moving, but that is the main difference. Fair weather will still be there. Opportunistic, the whole mindset is I'm there for what I can get from you. And you can't always even tell them sometimes, because sometimes they always know the right thing to say. They always know just how to go, because see, you shared some things with them. How many people know what I'm talking about? See, that's why I'm saying you have to be careful about what you share, because some people will turn that around as a weapon against you. Well, you can't share everything that everyone. Oh, you can't share all of the things that you've gone through with everybody. You need to learn how to share that stuff with the Lord and allow God to put the right people in your life, because you can share the wrong thing. You can share the wrong thing in confidence. You only told one person and now 500 know. I didn't tell anybody else, but it seems like all of Madison County and everybody else knows your business. And now every time you walk up and down the street, folks looking at you strange. I didn't tell anybody. How else would they have known? You have to watch out. Tell the people next to you need to watch who's next to you, and you need to watch who your friends are. You need to watch who your friends are. You need to choose the right kinds of friends. So now we have fair weather and we have opportunistic, right? Yeah. Then we have that paternalistic. That paternalistic is the person who basically wants to control you. I know what's best for you. See, the paternal part means father. So this is the person who says, I love you and I am your friend, but you're going to live according to the way that I want you to live. So they find solace and they find pleasure in trying to control you, because if they can control your decisions, then they can control your life. So in other words, they have just taken your life out of God's hands and they put it in their hands. So now they become God to you. You better not live your life based on the way that someone else wants you to live it, because when you do, you are destined to mess up. The Bible tells us over in Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 and 6, he says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all thy ways do what? Acknowledge God. And what does he promise to do? He will direct your path. You know what? And some people get mad at you when they can't control you. How many people know what I'm talking about? They just get mad at you. They just get mad. That's a spirit of witchcraft, and you need to get away from that. When people can't control you, that's that kind of friend. So far now we have opportunistic, we have fair weather, we have paternalistic, friends. We have all those kinds of friends. Then you have your evergreen friend. There are some others, but you know what? Next time, I guess we'll do a few more. But now you have your evergreen friend, and your evergreen friend is the person. Now this is actually a good friend, believe it or not. Because we've hit some interesting one, haven't we? But this is actually a good friend, because we find that the evergreen friend is that person who is there anyway. They're there for you. Evergreens, we look at regardless to how the seasons change. What do? They are always green. They are always the same. Now, they might not necessarily always call you. You might not talk but once a year, but you can pick it up exactly where you left off. That's an evergreen. And regardless of what you shared with them, you're still going to be your friend. They're still going to be there with you. Now we're getting kind of close to the kind of friend that I want. I want an evergreen, or I want the next kind of friend that I'm about to talk about. Now, that evergreen, like I said, regardless of how rough it gets, they may sway in the storm with you. It might get to an ice storm, but they're still green. They didn't shed on you. They didn't run on you. They didn't turn their backs on you. They're still the same kinds of people. How many people like those kinds of people in your life? Yeah, I like those kinds of people. I like those kinds of people who are the same. I just can't stand people who are real bipolar. One moment, there he is. And there, oh God, the other moment, there he is. One moment, you're my friend, and now you've done like a chameleon. Now you don't even, oh God, you don't even look like, oh Jesus. And then sometimes, you know what, when we're talking on the phone, you talk one certain way, and when it's just me and you, here you are. But now, since other people are around, ooh, are you even the same person? What is it that you are doing? I just don't understand. I can't wrap my mind. Now, let me tell you, after you have run into a snake and after someone has shown their true colors, it is up to you then to continue that relationship. I will even go as far to tell you that you're crazy if you do. Don't get mad at them because they just showed who they really are. But if you decide that you want, the first time they say shame on you, the second time they say shame on me, shame on me. So you're not going to get me twice, but you don't have to worry about that evergreen. And then you have a best friend. Somebody say a best friend. Best friend is that person who you do talk to all the time. That is that person. All best friends are evergreen friends. All best friends are evergreens. Somebody say best friends are evergreens. Yeah, they are evergreens. Sometimes they tell you what you want to hear, and sometimes they tell you what you don't want to hear. Sometimes they will tell you about yourself, whether you like it or not. Yeah, but you're supposed to be my friend. You know what? Medicine comes in two different kinds of flavors. It comes in sweet and bitter. And sometimes, you know what? It's bitter. Sometimes you don't want to hear what that person has to say, but if that person is still there for you, they're not the ones who are putting your business out there. They're the ones who want to see you get closer to God and not start acting crazy. Those are the people that you need in your life. A lot of us don't want accountability. A lot of us want to live our lives void of accountability. We don't want anybody telling us anything. But sometimes God will send that person in your life to straighten you up, because if you don't get straight, you're going to end up in destruction. Why? Because the Bible tells us that the ways of man in his own eyesight, they are right. So if I'm just depending on myself, then guess what? Things will always look right. But how many people know things are not always right the way that I'm thinking? Because it depends on what I'm going through at that time frame. There are some people who you've gotten in contact with in relationships. God didn't necessarily want you to be in a relationship. And now just because your best friend says you need to leave that person alone, you just jealous because you alone. You're just jealous because you don't have anybody. How many people know what I'm talking to? I know y'all looking at me funny. I know you all are looking at me real strange today. You know what I'm talking about. You just jealous just because he bought me roses. You don't have anybody to bring you roses. You're just jealous because now I have somebody when I'm talking to you on the phone and they click over on call ID. Then I get off the phone with you and start talking to them. You're just jealous. You're just jealous. You know how people work it. Come on. You know exactly how people work it. Just because we don't really go to lunch anymore now I go to lunch with them. You're just jealous. Don't you dare do anyone that God has sent in your life like that, because sometimes people on the outside looking in can see something that you might not see right now, because there are many people who have gotten messed up in bad relationships because they were in love. Yeah. I know what we're talking about. I know what we're talking about here. How many people know what I'm talking about? Yeah, if you had seen it just then you would have known exactly what it was that you were getting yourself into. You tried to tell me, but you know what? Best friends won't tell you I told you so either. Best friends just be there, baby. I understand you got into a bad situation. I understand you got into something kind of rough, but I am there for you. How many people want best friends in their life like that? Now let me tell you about that kind of friend that Jesus actually is. That's the kind of friend that Jesus is. That's the kind of friend who will not tell you exactly what you want to hear. That's the kind of friend who says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. That's the kind of friend that when you're going through your toughest trials, when you're going through your toughest storms, when it seems like you have lost everything, that's the kind of friend who says, although you messed up, I'm not going to hold it against you. You might have to pay for some things right now in your life, but I am not finished with you. How many people are glad that God is not finished with you? God says, I'm not finished with you, because there were times in your life when you messed up so badly, and by all accounts, I should be done with you. But how many people are glad that God was not done with you? The Bible tells us over in Romans chapter 5, verse 8, he says, in that while you were still messing up, I went on and paid for it on credit. While you were messing up, I already made up in my mind that I love you more than anything else. Even when you were messing up, I made up in my mind that I was going to come live and die for your sins. Even while you were messing up, I made up in my mind already that you were worth every hair in my beard being plucked out. You were worth the cat of nine tails hitting me in my back and snatching chunks of flesh out. You were worth me being spat on and beaten beyond recognition. You were worth all of the hardships and all of the trials that I went through. You were worth it. You were worth it even while you were drunk, even while you were snorting, even while you were chasing women. In that while you were yet a sinner, Christ said, I died for you anyway. Even while you were lying, even while you were gambling and cheating, even while church folks didn't want to have anything to do with you, God says, I died for you anyway. I did the best that I could do for you. I came, lived, and died for you. Even though you didn't deserve it, I was the one who stepped out of heaven, put on a body, and I'm the one who came and died for your sins. Even though everybody else turned their backs on you, I was the one who walked with you during those hard times. That's why the 23rd Psalm tells us, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, he says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. He says, I'm going to be with you in famine and when things are flourishing. He says, I'm going to be with you even if you don't have but $10 left in the bank, but yet you have all kinds of bills that are mounting. He says, I'm still going to be with you even though you might go through a bitter divorce, or even though you might lose a loved one. He says, I'm going to still be there with you, because I didn't promise you things that are going to be easy. I didn't tell you things are going to always work out the way that you wanted them to work out. I didn't always tell you that. I just told you I'm going to be with you. I am Jehovah Shammah, which means I am there. I am there, just like Daniel in the book of Daniel chapter 3, when those Hebrew boys went into the fiery furnace. He didn't tell them that they wouldn't go through it. He just brought them through it. He just was there with them every step of the way. How many people have needed Jesus every step of the way? How many people understand that you wouldn't even exist if it had not been for Jesus? Especially the way that our economy is doing. Jobs are shutting down left and right. Businesses are going out of business left and right. And some of us still have bills that are steadily coming. Some people have gotten pink slips, and some people have been let go. Lord, what am I going to do? He says, if you just trust me in the midst of your hard time, I'm going to make sure that you're making it. If you just trust me, although this job might dry up, I'm going to make sure that your barrel does not run empty. As long as you trust me, I'm going to make sure that no weapon formed against you is going to kill you. It might make you stronger, but it's not going to kill you. How many people are happy about that? Regardless of what you go through, it's not going to kill you. And you know what? God is able to stand you up in the midst of your struggle. Not just on the outside, not just after you've come out, but God is able to stand you up in the midst of your trouble. God is able to stand you up in the midst of your hard times. God is able to stand you up even in this kind of economy that we're living in now. God is able to stand you up when it seems like your whole world has just fallen apart. That friend that I'm talking about, here the Bible says he's a friend that's sticking closer than a brother. You think that your brother is always there for you? Jesus says, I supersede your brother. For that matter, I supersede your sister. For that matter, I supersede your mom. For that matter, I supersede your dad. Anybody else, I supersede them, because after they're dead and gone, gone, you're going to need me. After they are dead and gone, where are you going to go? Where are you going to turn to? I run to the rock which is higher than I. My Bible tells me over